Good afternoon, super friends, and welcome to the Monday, March 9th edition of the Sacred News and Weather. I'm super happy to have you here. And once again, it's been a while since I've come in. Oh, I have the itchiest nose. I'm sorry. It's allergy season here and it's brutal. Um, it's just been brutal. I've been full of my eyes. I think the last video I did, I was all like itchy and rashy. It's just the way it is right now for me. Maybe someday I'll take allergy medicine, but I'm too lazy. Anyway, welcome back. I'm delighted to be here. This is my second attempt at a video. My dog and two cats in the middle of my last recording flew across me and started barking at a squirrel that appeared on my deck. I don't know if you can see out here, but I'm in my bedroom corner here, and there's a deck just outside, and there was a squirrel that came right up on the railing, and they just launched. And then everything just derailed. So I'm going to try again. I'm delighted to be here. I'm grateful that you are. It's been a while, and so today's message began with me drawing some cards, which I don't normally do. But I was sitting at my altar. I just finished a meditation for myself, and I looked over, and the Rose Oracle was sitting there, and it wanted to be picked up. And so I thought, oh, well, show me what's happening in my YouTube collective. And interestingly enough, I drew two cards that are polar opposites of one another. They were the thorn and the rose without thorns. And I thought, oh, isn't that interesting? So I could riff to you and channel to you the meanings of those cards, but I don't actually think that that is where my energy and attention is supposed to be focused today. I think it is really on the polarity, on the duality that the powers that be, the world at large, wants us to believe in. The world at large, the powers that be, specifically the patriarchy, really would like us to believe in scarcity. The patriarchy operates in scarcity mode where there is not possibly enough, so we must grasp and gather all that we can and hold on to it really, really tightly and prevent anyone else from getting it and to keep people really small and low so that we can be elevated and be raised up above and have more and more and more. And there's not enough, so we have to grab it all and keep everyone else small and low. Thorns, the rose without thorns. We can't have both. You can't have tall and short. You can't have hot and cold. It's one or the other. But I believe, and I believe it's actually a universal truth, that we all have all of it. And the idea that there is not enough, the idea that we are one or the other is a very man-made, very polarizing idea. And in the eye of the heart, in the eye of spirit, in the eye of your highest self, in the eye of the divine and the divinity inside of us, we all have it all. And so when you are looking at someone and calling them beautiful, or you are looking at someone and calling them ugly, or if you are looking at someone and labeling them tall and looking at another person and labeling them short, please remember that there are going to be people who are far taller than that person that you're calling tall, and there are people who are going to be far shorter than the person you're calling small. And we all have it all inside of us. And I believe that that is the underlying message of today's channeled message. We're going to see where we go, though. I never know. So I'm going to give you my little preamble, which is, as with everything I do, take what resonates, leave the rest behind. And these messages are timeless. So if you're tuning in today, which is Monday, March 9th, or at a later date, or even at a very later date, if you're drawn to this title, there's likely going to be something here for you. But if there isn't, turn me off, find something else below, or wait until hopefully Wednesday that I come in and give you a new message. Don't try and fit yourself into a box. My work in the world is to take you out of your boxes. Okay, so I'm going to close my eyes and I'm just going to take a deep breath and I'm going to feel. The thorn and the rose without thorns. So, first of all, the thorn card speaks to boundaries. We are all drawn to the beautiful bloom of a rose, but the rose often has thorns all over its beingness to protect itself from being plucked, from being grabbed at, from being destroyed. It is a protector of its blossom. It is a protector of its magic. It is a protector of its bloom. I'm going to put the pin in here and I'm going to go to the rose without thorns. The way I experienced the energy of that card as I drew it was really one of unbridled joy. That bloom in its riotous expression with no boundaries needed. It is so full of joy. It is so full of fragrance. It is so full of splendor that it doesn't even need the boundary of the thorns. And now, as I'm saying this out loud, I can see exactly where we were going, where we're meant to go. And it is to do a little bit with that polarity, but not as deeply as I thought. The riotous splendor of the rose in bloom without needing thorns versus the thorns needed to protect itself. So what I'm seeing here as I'm saying it saying it aloud is the masculine and the feminine, or the patriarchy, not necessarily the divine masculine, but the patriarchy versus the true divine feminine. We could even say feminism versus the divine feminine, which is coming through also. So that might want to be present here. I'm just going to explain that a little bit here. When I say feminism, I am not speaking of the divine feminine, the divine feminine. I'm I'm expressing what we have come in this day and age to know as feminism up until now, which is not the divine expression of femininity, but really the patriarchy in women's clothing. And so I'm talking about here on the thorny side that I'm feeling into, I'm talking about the women who come into power not to uphold true matriarchy, which is all encompassing, which is we are all everything. We all have all things inside of us. Therefore, we all deserve to be held in a womb of compassion. We all deserve to be held in a womb of love. Here at the thorns, what I'm feeling is the expression of patriarchal feminism, which is we're upholding the patriarchy, we're just in a woman's body. So it is the same scarcity, it is the same, and sometimes even more vehemently so. And I'm going to go ahead and dare to say that aloud, that with the sister wounding and the mother wounding and the wounding of the patriarchy, sometimes those feminist women in feminist power come in and all they are doing is like upholding the patriarchy in an even more toxic form because they are women and we technically should know better. But here we are squashing everyone underneath us and getting grabby and getting snarky and going behind people's backs and getting people sometimes killed. I'm particularly speaking to the toxic power of white women in particular right here, that toxic femininity, that thorny, we're doing good because I'm a woman and I'm in power, but what you're actually doing is pricking people and making them bleed. We're going to leave that here. I think you understand what I'm saying, as opposed to the unbridled joy, the unbridled softness of the divine feminine. Now, that is not to say that in order to be in your divine feminine, you do not have boundaries. I am not saying that, so please don't hear that. I'm just feeling the contrast of feminism versus the divine feminine. And the divine feminine, the true matriarchal society, is one where we are all in our full power, including our men, including our divine masculines who get to be in their full power, as well as the women in their full expression of power as well. And that's what I feel like this message is about, really presenting the distinction between the two. I had no idea that this is where we were going, yet here we are. I want you to imagine that this rose without thorns is that place, is what I'm hearing is Alaha Rachme, which in that's Aramaic, that is the radiant womb. It is the radiant divine. It is the radiance of the womb of compassion. I keep saying that over and over again. We are very much in present time. If you're tuning in on March 9th, we are in the season of Adar, the month of Adar, the month of Pisces, and it is very much the waters of compassion, the waters of the womb of compassion. And the visual here that I'm getting, the image that I'm getting, is really being held in this such unconditional love, in the realm of unconditional love, in such a way that the love itself becomes the mechanism for transformation of our society. So when people hear, even when I hear, when I say, which is why I keep making the distinction, when I say matriarchy, I do not want you to think that I am suggesting that we women need to take over and crush our men and run the world the way the men have been running the world, just in women's bodies. What I am saying is, in true matriarchy, we get this beautiful bloom of the womb of compassion where you are held in softness, you are held in love, so that you can heal your wounds and really begin to embody your full power where you understand we all have everything. We are roses with thorns or without. We all have everything inside of us. And what we wish to bring forward is the gift in everyone. We understand that there is enough to go around for everyone, that no one needs to be in scarcity, that all of us get to be tended to. And by tending to all of our hearts, by tending to all of our healing, by feeding one another, by housing one another, by tending to one another at the heart level, at the physical level, at the spiritual level, when we are all tended to in all of those realms, our society can grow and bloom and be in its full resplendent joy without the need for thorns. Again, there is nothing wrong with upholding boundaries. So I'm not saying that here. I don't believe that that's what's being expressed in this message is a danger around holding boundaries. Boundaries are necessary. Boundaries are beautiful. Boundaries are perfect. And for that rose to bloom, a lot of you, a lot of us actually do really need to get clear on our boundaries so that we can really keep away from us that which is going to destroy us, the toxicity that does not serve our highest unfolding, the things that suck our joy, the things that suck our energy, the systems that suck our energy, the external parts of our world that suck our energy, the poison that's coming at us in all directions, media, social media, systems, our workplaces, the just our very existence, all of those things. We want to keep a firm boundary around that which is sucking our energy so that we can let in the radiance, so that we can let in the love, so that we can let in the joy. And I'm realizing that it's sounding perhaps a little bit milquetoast. It's sounding a little bit like, oh, let's just all be in love. And that's easy to say, but less easy to do. And what I want to say is that in the womb of compassion, there is equal parts darkness and light, and we need to go into the darkness. We need to go all the way into the darkness to really see what's there so that we can come into the light fully and wholly. And part of the beauty of the womb of compassion, if we are holding everyone in the womb of compassion, There is that rocking. There is the warmth. There is the holding feeling as we dive deep, as we get into the dark parts, as we get into the scary parts and look and see what's there, to recognize that what was so scary was the fact that we didn't even know what was there. We were unwilling to look and see. And usually, when you can get in there, you recognize, oh, that's not so bad. It's not so hard. It's not nearly as difficult as I thought, especially when you know that you are being held in love. And so, going back to the original images of the thorn and the rose without thorns, I feel like I'm just meant today to really draw your attention to the ways that you, as a woman, might be accidentally upholding the patriarchy in your feminine position of power, in your feminist position of power. I'm not calling feminism bad or wrong. I'm calling toxic anything bad or wrong, and it comes in all forms. And I'm asking you to look and see where you, as a woman, might be upholding the patriarchy in your position of power inadvertently. And I'm inviting you to soften into perhaps letting go of some of those thorns and experiencing joy and experiencing abundance and holding the frequency of abundance so that that bloom can be enjoyed by many. If you are someone who identifies as the masculine, it does not mean that you are toxic masculine. It does not mean that you are necessarily upholding the toxic patriarchy, certainly not consciously. I don't think any of us does it consciously. I think all that's happening has been so ingrained in us, so embedded in consciousness that we don't even know that we're doing it more often than we recognize that that is what we're doing. It is blind spots. They are blind spots, and I'm drawing your attention today to the blind spots. I'm inviting you, masculines, into your own divinity, into your own recognition of where the toxic patriarchy has really eaten into you and kept you low and slow, because that's by design. Again, if there is not enough, anyone who is not in the haves must fall underneath. And in the womb of compassion, in true matriarchal culture, we are all held within the circle. We are all held within the womb, and we are all encouraged to grow and blossom and bloom in the name of universal love, in the name of unity, and in the recognition that when one of us is in power, the rest of us get to be empowered, and vice versa. Where one of us is not in power, the rest of us suffer. Unity consciousness, unity consciousness in the womb of compassion. Step into the womb of compassion. Use this month of Adar, use this month of Pisces, use the influence of Allah Rachmeh, which is again the Aramaic. Bring it forward, step in, allow yourself to be rocked and held here in this womb of love so that you can heal and really uphold that circular hug, that rose without thorns for all. I think I'm going to leave it here. Thank you all for tuning in. Please like and share and subscribe. I am hoping I will see you on Wednesday. Oh, also comment below, ask me any questions, tell me what you need, tell me what you want to hear more about. I want to know. I want to know. I want to know.